Greetings to all of you, wherever you're listening from. I am Commander Bimal Raj, a TEDx speaker, internationally certified trainer and coach, mindset mentor, and a teen and parents coach. In this podcast, The Awkward Talks, I bring you topics that are usually considered taboo or are not discussed freely, but are some of the most pivotal things that we should be talking about. A 20-year-old middle-class student developed schizophrenia. He got hospitalized within 6 months of illness. He was just not able to continue his studies because the response to treatment was not good. The caretakers were his immediate family. They were hopeful at the start, but started losing hope along the way. Unfortunately, over the next 2 to 3 years, the father, mother, and sister also developed a depressive breakdown. They were just not able to cope with his illness. Now, growing up in any family can be challenging at times. However, things get really complicated when a family member or family members have mental illness. Now, mental illness does not only affect those who have it, it can also disrupt the daily lives of their family members and loved ones. Now, most of us believe that mental health conditions are rare and always happen to somebody else. We are not really prepared to cope with our loved one having a mental illness. We are unaware of what needs to be done to help and ease their life as well as our own. There's a lot of instability and unpredictability as well. Now, for instance, when an elder in the family is suffering, it ends up creating confusion in the family roles. Children or other family members may have to take over many of the parents' responsibilities, such as taking care of younger siblings or even managing household duties that are usually managed by the parents. They may even have to take care of the emotional or physical needs of their parents. And this often comes at the cost of their own nurturing and self-care. In India, unfortunately, mental illness is a taboo. Many people are ashamed about having someone in family with mental illness. These people may even avoid situations like social gatherings, etc., where they may have to talk about it. They also withdraw from relatives or friends who could actually help and support them. This only causes them to feel more isolated and alone. In this podcast, I would like to talk about mental illness, what to watch out for in your family members, and most importantly, if you are a caregiver, how you should take care of yourself. Now, first let's understand what is meant by mental illness. Now, mental illnesses are brain-based conditions that affect thinking, emotions, and behaviors. All of us have brains, even those who act like they don't. So it's quite common for some people to develop certain mental health problems during their lives. For people who have mental illnesses, their brains change in such a way that they are unable to think, feel, or act in ways that they want to. This means that some of them would experience extreme and unexpected changes in mood, like feeling more sad or worried than normal. For some others, it means not being able to think clearly, not being able to communicate with others, making them feel very frustrated. There are more than 200 classified forms of mental illness. Some of the common disorders are depression, bipolar disorder, dementia, schizophrenia, and anxiety disorder. Each of these need to be handled and talked about separately. Mental health problems can also be caused by excessive stress due to some situation or series of events. It could also be a reaction to environmental stresses, genetic factors, biochemical imbalances, or a combination of all these. Now, I hope you understand what mental illnesses are. Now, you need to know what are the warning signs that you should be aware of. Since mental growth is different for people of different ages, their symptoms are also different. For example, young adults may show confused thinking, depression or delusion, extreme highs and lows in emotions, even to the extent of being suicidal. There could be excessive fears and anxieties, including hallucinations. They may withdraw socially, experience changes in sleeping and eating habits, or have unexplained physical ailments, etc. When it comes to children, some of the symptoms that they show are inability to cope with daily activities at home and school, poor grades, or constant complaints of physical ailments. They may also experience changes in sleeping and eating habits, frequent anger and defiance, hyperactivity, prolonged negative moods and fears, nightmares, etc. Now, if you are certain that you are seeing some or most of these symptoms in someone in your family, then you need to take action. Now, one of the hardest but the most important step is to initiate a conversation regarding this with the person you're concerned about. You need to get professional help as early as possible. Now remember that you don't need to be an expert or have all the answers. Just speak from your heart and express your concern. Let them know that despite what happens, you will be there for them. Don't be afraid to talk about it. If you don't take this step, it will just delay the help that is possible for them and might even worsen their condition. Now let me talk about an area that gets neglected when somebody in the family is suffering from a mental illness. Let me talk about the unsung heroes in this journey, the caregivers. Now the stress of caregiving has been labeled as caregiver burden. The concept was first introduced by Trudeau in 1946 as a negative impact of caregiving on caregivers' mental health and quality of life. The caregiver burden has been described as having two dimensions, objective and subjective. The objective burden refers to the tangible and observable effects of caregiving. These include the effects on the family, such as disrupted family routines, constraints on family social and leisure activities, and even financial costs. The subjective burden includes the caregiver's negative appraisal of circumstances like feelings of loss, guilt, shame, and anger. Now, the caregiver burden is a universal phenomenon reported from all over the world, including Europe, Africa, America, Middle East, and Asia. Almost 80% of caregivers experience a burden in their role as a caregiver. The caregiver burden depends a lot on factors like the characteristic of the person with mental illness and the mental makeup of caregivers. Other factors also include the relationship between them, time spent by the caregiver with the patient, nature and severity of illnesses, etc. What are the challenges that you may go through if you are a caregiver? First, emotional stress. You may experience high levels of emotional stress, including anxiety, depression, and feelings of helplessness. It can be extremely distressing to watch the suffering of someone you love so much. Second, physical strain. You may have to physically lift them, bathe them, and constantly provide medical assistance. And all these activities can become physically draining. You may end up deprived of sleep and feeling exhausted constantly. Third, financial impact. Most of us are unprepared for the kind of financial burden that comes along with any kind of mental illness. Thankfully, from 1st of November last year, mental illnesses also have been covered under medical insurance in India. Now, despite that, there are many additional expenses that come up. Additionally, if you are working, your work hours may get affected and you may even have to resign if required. Fourth, social isolation. Some amount of social interactions can really help you take your mind off. However, most of the time when you get a window, you might just want to sleep off or run some errands that were pending for long. This naturally causes social isolation, which leads to feelings of loneliness and sadness. Fifth, role conflict. Now, if you are a woman, this is like going back to work after childbirth. You can feel torn between your work commitments and your responsibility to your loved one who is suffering. Sixth, feel unsupported. You may feel unsupported due to lack of support and understanding from family and friends. You may also feel isolated and unsupported due to lack of resources or even good medical care. Seventh, uncertainty. Many times we just don't know how long recovery will take. One day it could be one step forward and the next day it could be two steps back. This uncertainty can also cause a lot of stress. Now comes the most important part. If you are a caregiver, how can you empower yourself? The first and the most important step is to acknowledge and accept the fact that you have a family member with a mental illness and that it could be affecting you. It's normal to have feelings such as anger, shame, and guilt. Remember that you are not responsible for causing your family members problems or for fixing their condition. Next, develop new ways of taking care of yourself. Recognize and accept that you have legitimate needs and stressors and that it's completely acceptable to take care of yourself. Next, watch out for your negative self-talk that can spiral you down. Remember that you are doing your best and their condition is not in your hands and does not define your efficiency or worth as a person. Next, educate yourself about your family member's illness. Read books, papers or articles from reliable sources on the matter. Now, there could be podcasts or other programs and conferences that can give you important information about the condition. Educating yourself about the condition does not mean that you need to know everything about the condition. It is not meant to help you cure them, but it can help you understand what they're going through. It can also help you calm your guilt, anger, resentment, embarrassment, shame, or even fear. Next, try to put yourself in their shoes and understand what they might be going through. Show empathy. Don't lecture or trivialize their experience or try to tell them what you would do in their place. Encourage and congratulate them on the positive changes they make and encourage their efforts. If they refuse to take professional help, be patient and keep listening. Talk to them and try and understand their needs. Offer to go with them. This might just encourage them to seek help. Most importantly, consider seeing a mental health professional yourself. You may subconsciously feel that this condition is inheritable, thereby putting you also at risk. Get more clarity on this to put your mind at ease and also to understand how a family member's mental illness affects your life and how you can help yourself. Lastly, join a support group. A support group that addresses your specific situation can definitely help reduce your feelings of isolation and validate your experience. Well, in conclusion, remember that recovery from a mental health challenge is never a straightforward process. Typically, there are ups and downs, times of progress, and periods of setbacks. Be ready to provide support and encouragement to your loved one for the long run, not just for an immediate crisis. Try and get their permission to work with professionals to support them and also plan their treatment. Many times you may feel that your support and actions are not making a difference. Trust me, whatever you are doing is making a huge difference to them. They could even feel guilty for putting you through all this, just that they could be hurting too much to express all this to you. If you are a caregiver, my heart goes out to you. I salute you for the selfless work that you are doing. I know what you could be going through, and I need you to know that you don't need to burn yourself out. It is not your fault, and the condition or its progress is not in your hands. Remember that you are stronger than you think you are, but you don't really need to be strong all the time. Reach out to other people and ask for help. More often than not, most people would be more than willing to help you out. If you like this episode, please don't forget to rate it. Click on the follow button to make sure that you don't miss any episode of ours. Do share this with others. There could be many who are silently suffering, and this may just help them reach out for support. And if you know somebody who's a caregiver, go and extend your love and your support for them. This is Commander Bimal Raj, and I will be back with another awkward talk next week.